Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to Database Tutorials with Visual Basic.net. Today's tutorial is very simple and short. It's about database connections. So far what we did is that we used the wizard in order to open database connection, get the content of a table, and so on. Today we are gonna see how we can write the code that does that. We will not use any wizard at all. Okay, so we will only cover one thing here. It is a database connection. Whenever you want to do some kind of operation against the database, you must have an open connection. Okay, so in order to test this, we have this simple database. It's called test. I'm gonna open it now, and it contains one table. It's called NME, and it contains a column called names, and this is its content. So we are gonna open this database and access its content. Now, let's go back to this simple project. This is a very simple project. It's we have a form and we have a button. Okay, now the button has the following code. First thing, we need to define the connection object, and the connection object allows you to connect to the database you want to work with. So as you can see, this is dimension, my connection, and I guess I'm gonna write the code again so that you understand what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm gonna create another button. Okay, so this is another button, open connection, and this is gonna be open connection 2. Okay, now I'm gonna double click this one. Now first thing, as we said, open create the connection object. So dimension CONN, whatever the name is, as OLEDB dot OLEDB connection. Okay, now the object is not initialized. This is why we are gonna use new keyword here. Okay, in order for the connection to work, in order for the connection with the database to work, you need to define what's called a connection string, and here you should write something. Okay, so the connection string, what's the connection string? It's a text that describes the information that your application need in order to communicate with the database. Okay, now what does that mean? Now let's look at this part. This part, you see there is the provider part. Okay, now this is part of the connection string. What this means that you are going to use a piece of software, okay, and this is the name of that piece of software that will allows you to communicate with Access database. Okay, so it is Microsoft ACE OLEDB driver. Okay, this is the ACE driver that allows you to communicate with Access database. If you are gonna communicate with Oracle database, you might need to specify a different provider. If you are using MySQL, you will specify a different provider. Each database uses a different provider, okay, or a different driver. Now the rest of the connection string tells you some information related to the database. For example, in Access, you need to specify the physical path where the database actually is. Okay, in Oracle database, you might need to specify the port number, you might need to specify the IP address of the server, the username and password, and so on. In MySQL there's something similar to that, and so on. So the connection string, in short, describes the driver that communicates with the database with the other needed information in order to open the connection. So I am gonna copy this from here, copy, and I'm gonna paste this here. Okay, so now I have the connection object, but the connection is not open yet. Okay, now open the connection, conn.open. Now this step opens the connection to the database. Now I am gonna add this MSG box. Wait a minute, pause a little bit. So MSG box connection is open, and then in this part here you should write the code that accesses the tables and do some processing, and finally close the connection. So here dot close. Okay, MSG box connection is closed. Okay, now the reason I did this one is the following. We are gonna open the connection, okay, and then the execution is gonna stop, and then after that we might do some processing here. Actually I didn't do any processing here. All I did is this message box. Okay, but I'm gonna show you how the connection is open, and then we are gonna close it. So always open connection, do processing, and then close the connection. Now before we do some test here, yeah, let's do this test, and then we will go to this code. So I'm gonna run this one, minimize this. Now watch this carefully. So here we have this access file, right? I'm gonna click on open connection. As you can see, you see this little file. This is the log file. This will allows this means that this database is open, and this contains information about the logs and stuff like that. And you can see that the connection is open, and if I click here, the connection is closed, and you see the log file is gone. So so this means that we successfully opened and closed the connection to the database. Okay, now let's go back now and look at this code, the one that already exists here. So here we are defining a connection, okay, exactly the same, and then we have this. We open the connection. Now this is a query. We are gonna cover this in the next tutorial. Here we are defining a command, which means it's a query. We are selecting all the information of the table and ME, and then we are gonna loop on the content of the table, displaying the names one after another. Don't worry about this code. This is just to demonstrate that we can access the data. So I am gonna run this. I'm gonna click on the first one. Now check the names, Joe, Michael, Todd, Bond, so we can access all these data. Okay, so this is it for the database connection. Now the question is, okay, how do I get, or how do I know the connection string? This might be the most difficult part in the subject, is knowing the connection string. And actually it's not that difficult. The simplest way to do it is this. Go to data source, select add a new data source. It's a database. Select next, select a new connection. Okay, now select your database. Okay, this is your database. Okay, when you select the database, you just click here. You will see the connection string, you just copy this one from here, and then you just go and paste it in this place, and that's it. Okay, it's as simple as that. This is how you do it. Another alternative is that you can access a website called connection string. I think it's called connection strings, something like that. Yeah, this is it. This is connection strings. This website will allow you, it's connectionstrings.com. Here you can select any database, and yeah, so let's say you want to access MySQL database, you just click on that. Okay, my connection is a little bit slow, but you get the idea here. So this is the connector, this is the net connector. So you click on that, you can see now the connection string. It should be like this. The server, you write the server name here, the database name here, username and password. If you have a port, you specify it. If you have main pipe, if you have multiple servers and so on, if you have an encryption, stuff like that. Okay, now you can select another type. For example, if you want to use, for example, PostgreSQL .connect. Let me see, this is one of the connections I use. This is how you can specify it. You can see some are very similar to others, but connection strings help you out a lot. And let me see where access is. Where is access? This is it. You can even access Excel files. Anyway, so this is access, and this is the ACE driver, okay, which we are using. You can see here, this is it. This is the ACE driver, and this is where the database file is. Okay, so this is all for today's tutorial. It's very simple and very easy. If you have further questions, let me know, and send these questions to us at mka-soft.com. Also check the websites, you'll find other video tutorials and source code. Have a nice day.